All right, so today we're going to get started in our comfortable seat. So you're just going to take a moment and find your seat and explore a little bit, shifting forward, back, left and right. Maybe even adding in a little bit of a cat-cow, a little bit of a side sway, maybe just an exploratory twist or two. Before you settle into stillness in the center. I invite you to close the eyes and start to bring the attention inward. Feel your seat rooting down and equally the crown of the head rising up. The heart space is open as the shoulders gently pull back and drop down. Allow your breath to be naturally full and complete. And just bring yourself into a space where you can listen and receive. I've been working with going through the chakra system, and this is our third week. And so we are on chakra 3. The name is Manipura, translates to mean lustrous gem. The element is fire. The purpose is transformation. The color is yellow, and the location is the solar plexus. It's the space just at the base of the ribs to the top of the navel. So kind of like that upper belly, right? Not that low softness, but just above it. Here is where our ego lives. This stage is developed between 18 months and 4 years of age. So if you get to be around children at this age, you get to see the development of the ego. You get to see children differentiating and authenticating and separating themselves from parents and voicing their wants and needs and desires very clearly, right? This is where they realize that they are separate and they begin to establish autonomy. The basic rights here are to act and to be an individual. When we're balanced in this area as adults, we are responsible and reliable. We have a balanced, effective will, good self-esteem, balanced ego strength, warmth in personality, confidence, spontaneous and a playful sense of humor, appropriate self-discipline, a sense of one's personal power, and we're able to meet challenges. When we start to move into the third chakra, we begin to exercise choice and initiate the will. Through exercising our will, we develop our individuality, discover our true strengths and weaknesses, and begin to build the power that will steer our lives. We leave the realm of safety and security, carrying our safety within the ground of our own body. Power is not created from staying safe. Power comes from the willingness to leave the world of safety and move forward into the unknown. As we meet challenge, it strengthens us by forcing us to grow. Power, like a muscle, will not increase by doing nothing. In the chakra system as a whole, the purpose of the third chakra is to transform the inertia of matter and movement into a conscious direction of willed activity. Earth and water are passive and dense. They move downwards. Chakra 1 and 2 are instinctual. They follow the paths of least resistance. But as we move into chakra 3, we move into dynamic fire and light, rising upward away from gravity. I'm going to offer an affirmation that's connected with this chakra. I honor the power within me. So in today's class, we're going to honor the power within ourselves. Palms come together, hands at heart center. And let's bring our voices together with the sound of Om. Full inhale. Release the hands down. Switch the cross of your legs. Bring your arms out wide like a T. Inhale, tilt the pelvis, reach the heart, raise the gaze. Exhale, curl around, right arm over left. Give yourself a hug. Inhale, open it up. Look up. Exhale, left arm over right. Hold and hug. You're going to continue to flow like this. On the inhales, that power center is open. And on the exhales, you carve out that power center to create space in the back body. Pay attention to the base of the ribs as you do this movement. Notice what it feels like to open and expand, and to engage and curl and round. This will be our last full round. We started with the right arm on top. We'll end with the left arm on top. And then bring yourself back and bring your hands now onto the sides of the ribs. So you're going to bring the fingers around the rib cage, and your thumbs will be in the back of the ribs and the other 4 fingers around the front. What you're going to do is kind of squeeze the ribs in and knit them down, as if you're knitting them together and rooting them down into the low belly. This will engage that area. Notice your shoulders may have rounded. Pull the shoulders back. Keep the knitting and the anchoring of the ribs. Sweep the arms up, and then lower the right arm down as you take a side sway to the left with knitted and anchored ribs. And just notice how this is possibly different from when you typically take a side sway. Inhale through center, reach up tall, keep those ribs knitted and anchored. Exhale, lower the left arm, side sway to the left. That right shoulder drops down a bit, and that shoulder dials back a smidge. Breath is flowing. Inhale, come through center, reach up tall. Exhale, release the hands down. Now you're gonna bring your feet to the earth, knees up towards the sky. You're gonna have space between the heels and the seat. And make sure both sides of the seat are nice and rooted. Come back to the knitting and the anchoring of the ribs. And with this engagement, take a twist to the right. Right arm back behind you. Left arm will gently press to the outside of that right thigh, or that left arm can wrap around the calves as you gaze over the right shoulder. Bring yourself back through center. If you lost the knitting and anchoring of the ribs, bring it back and then take your twist to the left. Either right arm presses on the outside of that left thigh, or right arm wraps around the shins as the seat and feet root and the crown of the head rises. Bring yourself back through center. And now we're going to fire up that core a little bit here. Hands to the backs of the thighs. Shift the weight to the sacrum. Begin to float the legs up. Option to keep the legs parallel with the earth. Maybe release the hands, palms up, shoulders come back. You may stay like this, or you may lengthen the legs long. You may keep your arms at the sides or sweep the arms up, biceps next to the ears. Slowly, with control, incrementally begin to release yourself all the way onto the back. Reach the arms up overhead and stretch down with the toes. And then bring your arms out wide like a T. You can have your palms pressing down. Float your legs up and have them bent at 90 degrees. We're going to do a pendulum swing. So keeping the head and shoulders rooted. Inhale, center. Exhale, lower the knees to the left to a hover. Inhale through center. Exhale, lower the knees to the right to a hover. And so you're going to keep moving like so. Keep a softness in the face as you work this here. If you want to fire it up a little bit more, you have the option to lengthen the legs and do this hover drop with long legs. It's just an option. You don't have to do that. This will be our last full round. And then you bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug, and we're going to start to rock along the spine. Inhales back, exhales forward. Eventually rolling up into your Malasana yoga squat. Now, you know, if you need to press yourself up into Malasana, you'll press yourself up. You'll do your best to find rootedness in those heels, palms together at heart center, elbows and knees press into one another. And we're going to work with Kapalabhati breath, or breath of fire, which is pumping the breath through the low belly and breathing in and out through the nose. We're going to go for about 30 seconds. Inhale fully, exhale fully, inhale halfway, and then use the low belly to start to pump the breath. Full breath in, full breath out. Release the arms, lengthen the legs. Now keep the legs wide as you're coming into a ragdoll forward fold. Knees are soft, torso is swaying, head is releasing.
As we move into our third chakra of fire, we must be willing to leave the way it has always been behind, to transform our habits, to set a new course as we come into the fire. We must be willing to individuate, to step out of the familiar and expected and confront the challenge of uncertainty. You must be the change that you wish to see in the world, says Gandhi. Fire awakens us from our passive slumber, sparking consciousness into understanding. Understanding tempers the fire, binding raw energy into power, direction, and transformation. Keeping those feet wide, settle into stillness. You might even bring the feet a little bit wider. You're going to start to walk the hands around towards the right foot, and the right toes return out towards the right. Right hand is either tented, fingers on the inside of the right foot, or back of the right hand comes to the inside of the right calf. Left palm traces the right arm as it extends open towards the sky into triangle pose. Option, if you want to fire it up a bit, float the right arm, bicep next to the ear. On an exhale, release the right hand if it's floating. Release the left hand. So to walk yourself back through center, right toes turn forward, left toes turn out to the left. Walk the hands around towards the left foot. Left hand either stays tented on the inside of the left foot, or back of the left hand comes to the inside of that left calf. Right palm traces and extends up towards the sky. Settle into your triangle, possibly float the left arm. Release the left arm, release the right arm, bring it back through center. Now start to heel toe your feet closer together so they're hips distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, soft knees, fold forward and down. Inhale, rise, reach tall, gaze up, reach up. Honor the power within you. Feel yourself rooted and connected, but equally rising with a fire in the belly. This is what gets you out of bed in the morning, gets you onto your mat, gets you taking care of yourself and doing the things that you need to do, right, to keep your life flowing. Bring the palms together, hands at heart. Tap into your center. Honor the power within you. Inhale, gaze up, reach up. Exhale, soft knees, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into a high plank pose. Inhale here, exhale, lower knees, bend the elbows, lower the torso all the way to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, or maybe you press up into upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take some time here in your down dog to pedal out the feet, shake out the head, and just curiously, playfully explore. A healthy third chakra exhibits energetic vitality. There is enjoyment and enthusiasm about life. Our sense of personal power gives us hope that we can make things viable for ourselves.
And with this positive outlook, we are not afraid to venture into the unknown, to take risks, or to make mistakes. When our energy field is strong, we don't get bogged down by obstacles. We don't lose our direction when challenged, but go forth with strength and will. We enjoy engaging in activity, tackling challenges, and grappling with the world. Activity develops our sense of power through constant presentation of new challenges. Settle into stillness. Bottom of your exhale, knees soften, gaze forward, bring the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach tall. Exhale, hands through heart. Release your arms down to the sides. Set up your feet for the way that you like to take chair pose. Feet, I always like to do hips distance apart. It just gives me a firmer foundation, but you can always bring the big toes to touch if that's what you like to do. On an inhale, you're going to bend the knees, sweep the arms, Katasana, chair pose. I want you to knit and anchor the ribs here. Bring your palms to hands to heart center. Keep the knitting of the ribs and take a twist to the right. Left elbow will press into that right thigh. Next, inhale, come through center, lengthen up, come up tall. Exhale, sit back in chair, palms together, twist to the left. Keep those ribs knitted and anchored as you twist here. Keep lightness in the toes. Inhale, unwind, come through center, extend up tall. You're going to shift the weight to the right leg and step the left foot back and come into a high lunge. You're on the ball of that back foot, and you're going to twist your torso to the right. Right arm back behind you, left arm out in front. On an inhale, drop the right arm to the back of the left thigh and extend the left fingertips up and back. Bring yourself back through center, back into your classic lunge. Hands to hips, step the back foot in halfway and lengthen that front leg. We're going to set up for pyramid. Bringing the hands back behind you, just hold opposite forearms. Fold the torso halfway into an L shape. Knit the ribs, square the hips, root through the feet. Keep all of this and then fold forward. If you need to, you can always release the hands to the earth. Honor the power within you. This means also honoring our boundaries when they arise. We don't judge. We keep a playfulness and a lightness. We don't want our fire to burn out, right? We keep it light. On your next inhale, torso is going to rise halfway into an L shape. You have an option to stay here or come to the ball of the left foot and then begin to float the left leg up into a warrior three. Hands can stay back behind you, or you can release your hands out to the sides or hands to hearts. Extending long from left heel through the crown of the head. Release yourself to standing. Undo the arms and shake out that right leg. You'll feel that leg got fired up. So allow it, just that movement, to find its neutral before you settle back into your mountain. Weight shifts over to the left leg, step the right foot back, sweep the arms up, come into your high lunge on the left. Notice if the ribs are really leaking forward, but can you knit and anchor? Keep that power center. Twist the torso to the left. Left arm back behind, right arm out in front. Drop the left arm to the back of the right thigh. Extend the right fingertips up and back. Come back into the twisted lunge. Release into classic lunge, squaring off the shoulders. Stepping forward with that back foot, lengthening the leg, setting up for pyramid pose. Hands come back behind, grabbing those opposite forearms. Knit the ribs, square the hips, fold halfway. Find your alignment, your strength and engagement. Keep it and then fold. Honor the power within yourself. On an inhale, torso is going to rise halfway into the L shape. We know we can stay here or come to the ball of the right foot and begin to float the right leg up into warrior three. Yogi's choice with what you do with your arms. You might keep them behind or you might release them out. Begin to release yourself to stand. Unwind the arms and shake that left leg out, releasing that fire. Feel the power within you, right? Your strength, your warmth. Let's pay a little bit of attention to the upper body, finding some stability in our shoulders. Inhale, gaze up, reach up. Exhale, soft knees, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank pose. Lower your knees down into assisted plank. Lower your elbows down onto the forearms. Knit your ribs, keep this, and then lengthen back out through the legs into forearm plank. Lower the knees, lower the hips, peel the heart open, Sphinx pose. Active Sphinx, press the tops of the feet, claw the fingertips, drag the shoulders back. Allowing that belly to settle, that fiery space to open up. On an exhale, release down, one arm on the other, rest the head, crocodile. One more cleansing breath here. Feel the body starting to settle.
Know that we're going to make the transition into our yin portion. So we're going to take that fire that we built and now start to open up. So if you want to put a layer on your mat, this is the time where you're going to do it. And make sure to have your strap not too far from you, your blocks and other props that you may need. And we're going to start in a butterfly heart bench. So you'll take your bolster or your blocks and you'll set them up, one to support the head, one to support the heart. And you'll bring yourself back. We're going to start with lots of sweetness. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly. Maybe you bring your hands onto the solar plexus to just tune into this fire inside. The soft, open belly, right, just above the navel. Perhaps you can feel your heart beating. You can feel the warmth and energy that you've built up. Close the eyes and give yourself time to settle in. The third chakra aspect of individuation involves overcoming unconscious habits that allow us to be defined by others. Here we break free from internalized parents, peers, and culture and begin to define ourselves. It is about daring to be unique, risking disapproval for the integrity of your own truth. Individuation is the unfolding of our unique destiny, the unfolding of the soul. We cannot change the world if we have not yet individuated from the way that the world expects us to be. We cannot truly claim our power without a willingness to individuate, to stand on our own, to embrace who we are, a unique individual. Honor the power within you. And right now, you're asking your fire to take a little break, to take a little breather, to relax, to let go. Allow that to happen. Be with your breath. Three more rounds of breath here. When you release yourself,
Know that we will eventually be coming into a seat. So you can take your time slowly rolling off the props, possibly pausing, maybe even removing and coming back onto the back. Whatever you need to do to neutralize. And then when the body's ready, it'll make its way into a long-legged seat. We're going to set up for caterpillar pose. The legs will be long. They can be close together or maybe hips distance apart. And then the torso will melt forward. The head will release. The back of the heart is spacious. And if you need props, right, you might need to bring blocks under the elbows or a pillow on the legs to fold yourself over. Don't think about it too much, but just support yourself and then begin the transition into the yin, the meltiness, the release. So the third chakra is where the ego develops. The ego functions as the executive identity or the CEO of the self. The ego is like a house. It's where we live. It contains us, gives us a place to grow and change, and creates boundaries, which are necessary for forming ourselves as an entity. It balances energy in the system, keeping us in homeostasis. Many spiritual disciplines advise us to transcend the ego and consider it something bad, limiting, or false. The problem of the ego is not that it is limiting, but that we allow ourselves to be confined by it at all times. We stay confined out of fear, guilt, or shame, and never go outside to the larger world, never open our windows or doors. It is not wrong to have a home, but it should be an anchor for experience, not a limitation. Keeping this in perspective allows us to both have a strong ego and transcend it as well. Three more rounds of breath here. When you release from this, it's the hands that press into the earth as the spine slowly peels its way up. The head is the last thing to rise. Give yourself a few moments to feel and allow the life force and the energy within the body to come to a neutral. The next place we'll go is we'll set up for a deer pose. So the knees are going to be bent, feet and knees wide. Hands can come back behind you. Drop both of your knees to the right. The sole of the right foot is on that left thigh. Your torso twists out to the right and then begins to walk down. You might come to elbows, you might come to props, you might come all the way to the earth. Thinking like the graceful deer just prancing through the forest with lightness in the face. Allow yourself to settle. As we move into the third chakra, we start to tap into our self-esteem. Energetic vitality requires self-esteem. With a basic trust in ourselves, we can better face the unknown. We have a sense of self that does not fall apart when things go wrong, that can still maintain consistency in the face of challenge. For a healthy ego, it's okay to make mistakes. Have confidence in yourself and trust yourself. Know that no matter what happens, be it a success or a failure, there is a lesson to be learned. And when we make mistakes, we definitely learn lessons, right? And we apply those lessons to help us grow and continue to move forward. Always keeping this lightness and joyfulness. Allow yourself to settle here. Three more rounds of breath here. The release is gentle and kind and done in your own unique way. Trust yourself that you know how to bring yourself out. You might not even need to open the eyes as you find a center, as you unravel and unwind. We practice this trust in the self on the mat in the hopes that it will relay those brain synapses and keep us that way off the mat as well. When you're ready and it's appropriate, you'll begin to set up for the other side. Knees bent, knees and feet wide. Drop the knees to the left. Turn the torso to the left. Find your deer pose. softly settling in. Here, the power that we're seeking is the power and the strength in the letting go. In our society, it's actually really hard for a lot of people to do this type of practice because they're used to being led by and encapsulated by the ego. And so the fire is burning all of the time to the point where people experience burnout and fatigue, right? That's not true power or strength. True power and strength has the ability to fire up, but also to release and let go. Honor that power within. Practice that surrender. Three more rounds of breath here. You'll begin the unwinding, the unraveling, the coming back to neutral. Once you have yourself neutralized, know that we will take a hold of the strap and make our way onto the back. We're going to set up for our hammock pose, right? To get into the neck and to get into the hamstring a little bit more. So you'll lay on the back, strap up the right foot, take the other end of the strap and bring it to the base of the neck, and it rests just above the ears. And once you find your hammock, you may explore shifting the head a little left and a little right until it settles into stillness in the center. The arms can release gently off to the sides. The left leg can be long on the earth, but some people like to have the left knee bent with the foot on the earth. Close the eyes. Power is the ability to make change and exist for one reason only: transformation. When the old has outgrown its purpose, it's time to transform into something new. Power is not a thing, but a way. It is a process of becoming real. Perhaps when you look at our world, you can see an abuse of power that happens a lot when people get stuck in the ego. True power is not my power over you, but it is embracing the uniqueness and the power within each person and recognizing that each human being has a divine spark and has been placed here for a special reason. Not one is better than the other. They're just different. We have power when we dare to live authentically, when we reach inside ourselves and tell the naked truth. The more we dare to take risks, to question, to be true to ourselves, the easier it becomes. Power comes when we are willing to make mistakes and to be responsible for them, to learn from them, and to correct them. Three more rounds of breath here. When you release this side, you might automatically just switch the legs out, or you might totally reset. Do what works best for you. Knowing if a pause is required, totally take a pause. And then when you find that hammock on the left, you settle in. Power is the expression of the sacred in its evolutionary unfolding. Power is the awesome presence of the divine. Power is the mystery, the unknown, the confrontation with the other. Power is the transition from the past to the future. In order to escape the narrow traps of personal limitation and approach the magnificent expanse of totality, we must reclaim our power. Power is the ability to determine our own destiny. Only in a path of uniqueness can the vital energy uncoil and pierce the regions of the unknown. Only with power can we move aside the obstacles that keep us imprisoned, enslaved, and unconscious. 3 more rounds of breath here. When you release, just give yourself a few moments to settle. And I'll offer one more pose, a supported bridge pose, just to get into that low back. So finding your block, raising your hips, placing the block underneath, support the sacrum, either keeping the knees bent or gradually lengthening the legs long. Possibly today, extending the arms up overhead. So your torso is just a long line of energy, but it's released and relaxed. When we begin to work with and heal our third chakra, it brings a healthy sense of power as well as its limits. It promotes a proactive and causative approach to life, one that is confident, warm, responsible, and persevering. The person is now able to take on challenges, follow through on tasks, confront opposition effectively, and take responsibility for their actions. The person with a healthy third chakra is a person with good vitality and a playful ability to laugh at themselves. You'll note a person that is ruled by their ego is not one that looks like that, right? But when we're able to have the ego, to embrace our individuality, but also embrace our connection to all that is, to connect with our divinity, to keep a lightness and playfulness and joy even within our power, right? We're playful, we're adaptable, we're willing to face challenges. This is true strength and power. Honor that within yourself. Keep breathing. Three more rounds of breath here. Be mindful of the fact that you were elevated on that block for an extended period of time. You'll slowly start to begin the transition of bending the knees and walking the feet back towards you if the legs are long. The hips will raise, the block will be removed, and then I invite you to just be still and let the low back neutralize once you lower it down to the earth. Give yourself a few moments here. And then when it feels safe, begin to explore some free form movement. Trust yourself. Have confidence that you know what you need better than I do. Eventually, this exploration will settle into your final rest. Classically taken, stretched out, but if you want to do a variation, you're more than welcome to. Take a nice cleansing breath when you settle. The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. Rest in your divine uniqueness. I'll call you back when it's time. Shavasana. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. In your own unique way, you'll begin to bring yourself back. Back to breath, back to body. Along the way, you'll thank yourself for carving out this time, for showing up, right? That ego got you here, your willpower. Knowing how important it is to carve out time for self-care. When you find your tall spine, just take a moment to reflect on any shifts or changes, right? Perhaps the body is different, the energy, the emotions. Just note any transformation that has occurred. We'll seal this practice in and send out some loving energy to the world around us with 3 rounds of Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some way to happiness and freedom for all. Followed by Om. Inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Hands to heart for Om. Thumbs to the third eye or seat of wisdom. Inhale, look up. Remember your connection to all that is in the ever-expanding universe. Exhale, bow forward, seal it in, thanking the earth for all that she provides. You are a powerful being. Remember that and honor the power within you. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed practice.